Hello guys, this is a theory that we're gonna do the matchmaking in the ue4. So first thing you have to make sure you have a fleet running at least in the game lift. So if you don't know how to make a fleet, you can watch my previous video, previous tutorial about the game lift. So we're gonna go to the dashboard. First, we're gonna create a queue loop. So this queue name I will say test queue loop, and queue timeout I leave the default 600. Alright, and the destination I add a destination and the region because my game left the region. Oh wait a second, yeah, right here. So because my region is US East 1, so in the create, so right here I will add a destination of the US East 1, and I'm gonna use fleet and choose a fleet that I already has in my fleet. All right. All right, and now I'm gonna create the queue loop. I forgot to create the zip button, so make sure, guys, this is very important. So after you change them all, you have to confirm. All right, and then I'm gonna click the submit. So we go back, and here is the matchmaking rule set. Uh, For now, I'll create a rule set. This rule set name I will say test a rule set. Alright, and rule set you're gonna write some things. So there is an example of the rule set. I'll turn the name to the test rule and the rule language version 1.0. Alright, and the player attributes, we don't give any player attributes. And the teams, we gave it two teams. Then that there is gonna be there are two teams in a match, and we leave it no rules and no expressions. Alright, it's a very easy symbol, and make sure after you write it, make sure you validate the rule set. So it's valid, then I can create a rule set. Alright, now I have a rule set. So and now we go back, and here is the matchmaking configuration. I will create a new matchmaking configuration. Then this name I will say test am, and uh, okay okay, first we can select the kilo region. Of course, US East 1, and the kilo is gonna be test kilo that I just created. And the request timeout I will say 200. Alright, and the rule set name I'll change the test rule set. Alright, and the game property I'll leave a game property. For example, like game map. I will see the game map. Uh, this game map I will say lobby map. Right, and the game mode. I will say test game mode. Alright. Okay, now make sure you confirm. And the backfield mode I will say automatic. If the player's number is full in this fleet in this session, but somebody leave, now there's one more position left. Then the people searching the match, they start searching matchmaking. They will find this server, this session with one left position. Alright, and I'm gonna click create. Now I have a matchmaking configuration. So we're gonna go back to Unreal 4. So I'll create a player controller. This player controller I will name this test matchmaking PC. And I'm gonna create a game mode. This game mode I will say I'll test a matchmaking game mode. Alright, and in the game mode I'll select I will select the I will choose test matchmaking PC for the player controller class. Alright, and compile save. So in this map, at these word settings, I'll choose test matchmaking game mode. Alright. So after I click play, now I have my player controller. So after player login, after player login, so here I'm gonna create it. Gamelift object. So here we actually need to have a credentials and a client configuration. Okay, so for now I put my SS key ID and secret key ID, and in the client configuration you're gonna change your region. But my matchmaking is under the US East 1, so you have to put US East 1. But you're in another region, then you have to change the region. Alright, and the return one I will make a variable. I will say gamelift client object client object. Alright, so first we're gonna start our matchmaking. So when a player join the map, it will start a matchmaking. Start matchmaking. Alright. So the matchmaking request. First the ticket ID we don't give any. We don't need to give any. And the configuration name, yeah, sure we have to give it. Alright. The configuration. Actually, the configuration. The name is test matchmaking AWS that I just created. Alright. I'm gonna paste. And also we have to give it the player ID. So make, because I am the only one, so I will just make my own player ID. Player ID. I'm just for now I'll just use UUID for instead. And the player attributes, actually we don't give any. And the team. So the team, we click the rule set. The team name is team. It's just team. So we have to right here. We're gonna type team. You can set your own team name. Yeah. Okay. So search making. So after the start matchmaking, actually I have the it will returns a matchmaking ticket and the ticket ID. So I'm gonna use a variable to store the ticket ID. Ticket ID string type. So if it has error, so I will say I'll print the error message. And after we get the ticket ID, we can actually start searching the matchmaking for, like, for example, I'll give it two seconds. So let me create it. Let me create a function. This function name I will say search matchmaking once. Search matchmaking once. Alright. And now here is the gamelift client configuration. I'm gonna say describe matchmaking. And in the describe matchmaking request, we have to put our tickets ID. And after it's completed, and if it goes false, is a success goes false, I'm gonna print the error message. But it goes success, and I will say the ticket list. I'll just say get the first ticket and break this structure. First ticket ID and the statue. So every time it's searching, I will print string just for testing. I will use the string connected to the statue. Here is game session connection info. So so the statue, if it's complete now, and then it will return a game session for us. But if it's not complicated and there's nothing in the game session connection info, so we have to after 2 seconds for time, I will make a branch to check if this statue complete complete. If it's complete, then I will print. I'll print what? The game session IP address. Append. And this thing we're gonna connect it to the port and print this IP and open level to this IP. Alright, and now I'm gonna net mode. I'll choose offline and new editor windows. Oh, I forgot something. So after I get the ticket ID, I'm gonna run the search matchmaking once. So every 2 seconds, I'm gonna do the describe matchmaking. Searching matchmaking once. Alright. Now we're gonna click play. So it says completely and gave me an IP. So actually the two players are in a game. So they're connected together. Here's the problem that if I just click play, so the matchmaking is fine. Now the two players are going to the same game session. If we go back to this fleet, we click this fleet and here's game session. There is no player sessions. When we check, it has a player session, but actually the state is reserved. It means that the player didn't accept the player session ID. So what we can do, is to after a player join the map and accept the player session. Alright, so we have to change the player state to activate instead of reserved. So what am I gonna do is to after the match player sessions, we're gonna detect it. Actually, oh wait, first I just created a game instance. Game instance. So in the game instance, I will create two variables. First is the game session ID, and the second variable is player session ID. Alright, and they both are string type. Right, so before the player controller, I'm gonna get game instance and create it to my game instance, and I'm gonna create the variable my game instance. Alright, so after the searching of the matchmaking is finished and the searching matchmaking return a valid game session, and after this I will store my game session in the in the game instance. So game instance and set game session ID. So here's after the game session connection info, after it complete and return a valid game session. So here is actually the game session ARN. I'm going to use this ARN to connect to the game session ID. And now after I store my game session ID in the gamelift, here is for each loop. So actually I have to detect the game session's player session ID, which one is my player session ID. So here is array element. So I have to test. Oh, let me create a player ID. Player ID. All right. So after when we start our player controller, I will store my player's ID. So because we're not doing the we didn't do the cognito in this project, so I'm just use the random UID for instead. So so after I start matchmaking, I will put my player ID. All right. So here is the for each loop. So I'm gonna detect after actually the game session connection info returns all the players that are connected in that game. So also include this player ID. After we start matchmaking, we put our player ID. If we find out the game session and it also will returns array of the player ID, conclude the player ID that I stored it. So I'm gonna make a branch to test if every values inside of this game session player sessions the player ID to check if it's equal to my player ID. If it's equal, then I'm gonna store my player session ID in the game instance. Set player session ID. Okay, store my player session ID, and then I'm gonna open level. Okay, okay, open level. Alright, and now we go to the server default map. Actually, that server default map I use this the default the template map, third person example map like this. We can just directly to put the those function in the character. So after the character appeared in the map, begin play. After character appeared in the map, so what I'm gonna do is to get game instance. Cast to my game instance. Create a variable, my game instance. Alright, and first I'm gonna use make an event. This event is gonna be run on server, and first input is the first is get game session ID. Get the game session ID. This is gamelift server. No need to use the client object. So after we get the game session ID, oh, let me print the error message. So get game session ID, and now we accept player session. Oh, actually, we don't need get session ID. Sorry. So first we have to accept player session ID. Alright. So this function I will say accept player session ID dash server because it's run on server. Alright. So after accept player session, actually that's it. We don't need to do anything else. So I will just print the error message. So after the player join and the player character created in the begin right after the begin play, I'm gonna accept player session, run a server, and I'm gonna use this variable to get my player session ID. You can some people will ask how we store the value. When we store the value in the player session ID, we just do in the player session. You see, there is a branch. There is a function that we can check our player IDs to see if it's included in the game session. If it's included, then we get its player session ID and stored it in the game session. And right now, when we log into the new server, and we also have the player session ID in my game instance. And now I will say accept player session ID. All right. So when people end play, why people end play? Because he want to leave. He may leave. So once the player leave the game, so we're gonna remove the player session. So actually the end play is multicast. Because actually my character is replicated. So when the end play called, it will run both on the server and client. So I will say make a branch to say if it's on server, because this accept player session is only the gamelift server, so it's only run on server. We cannot run it on the client. All right. So if it's run on server, we're gonna remove player session ID. Remove player session. So actually now I'm gonna use a variable, player session ID, and this is gonna be the string type, and I stored it in the server. We don't need to get the player session ID in the client, so we don't need to make this variable to replicate. Alright, and now if it's on server, the player session has a value. Now remove this player session, and after we're gonna make the branch and print the error message. Alright, and right now we're gonna upload a new dedicated server. Here actually I find the most interesting things because the gate so right now the current game instance is not my game instance. So I'm gonna go to the project settings, and here is game instance. I will choose my game instance. Alright. So here is the things that after the begin play, make sure the begin play is run on local, because the begin play also called the server, because this actor is actually the replicate. So after the begin play called, it will run both server and both client. So I only want to run this on the client. So I will say if it's local control, it means run on client. So after true, I will make a game instance and get its player session ID. For now, my fleet is ready to go, and now I'm gonna go to the queue loop. I will choose the task queue that what I'm using right now. So here is action added to queue loop. So for this fleet is no longer existing, so I will delete this and add a destination. The region first is gonna be US East 1 and type fleet, and I will choose the fleet that I just created, and make sure you click the green button for submit for confirm. All right, and click submit. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the Unreal 4. I'm gonna click play. All right, and now the players join the server, and now we click this fleet. Oh, there's two precision joined and they're activated. Why they're activated? Because we accept precision. Alright, so this is how we can. So actually, right here, we accept the precision. That's why the player statue becomes activate.